The Combiner 6C is a system building block that electrically combines PV and battery circuits, EV charger, and load control all in one box. The combiner also communicates with other system devices to monitor, manage, and control system electrical operations to ensure safe and optimal system performance. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to list PV, storage, EV charger, and load controller capacities in the Enphase IQ Combiner 6C, and identify the functional areas of a Combiner 6C. Let's look at some core functional features of the Combiner 6C. The Combiner 6C has several important features. The ability to operate in grid-tied system configuration and integrate and interconnect with a meter collar to provide backup system capability. Bus-integrated CTs to simplify metering installation. A simplified, low-voltage gateway for resilience and reliability. All-wired communications for reliable system performance. 100 amps continuous backfeed for solar and energy storage. 100 amps of PV or 80 amps continuous. 160 amps of storage or 128 amps continuous. 60 amps of EV charger connection or 48 amps continuous. 80 amps of load control capability or 64 amps continuous. The combiner provides support for IQ10C batteries. It is supplied with a Cat4 cellular modem, which currently supports 2 cellular service providers, and has the ability of dynamic provider switching based on cellular availability and signal strength. All Combiner 6C hardware is covered with a 15-year warranty with the exception of the cell modem, which has a 5-year warranty. The Combiner 6C, though larger than its predecessors the Combiner 5 or 4, is still a relatively compact box. It is around 26 inches tall, 18 inches wide, and 9 inches deep, and weighs in at a mere 40 pounds. It is NEMA 3 are rated for outdoor installation and use. And because there are many electrical things that connect into it, we have some really good thermal management. A little more about the cellular modem. This 4G, Cat4, high-bandwidth cellular modem provides a secondary support network to supplement the primary network provided by the home's Wi-Fi or hardwired router connection. Installers are required to have the cellular modem installed and connected for system commissioning. The cellular modem supports AT&T and T-Mobile network connections and automatically switches between services to ensure best connectivity, includes a data plan, and is pre-installed in the Combiner 6C. Here is an overview of the layout of the Combiner 6C, showing its functional areas. On the top left we see Enphase PV branch circuit breakers. Located on the upper center part of the unit are the electrical buses for all of the breakers. PV breakers are located on the left side bus. Up to 5 Enphase IQ series microinverter branch circuits. A total of 100 amps of solar can be combined into the Combiner 6C. PV slots 1, 2, and 3 can support 3 branch circuits of PV, up to 20 amps of solar each of IQ series PV. PV slot 4 can accommodate another 20 amp branch circuit breaker, or optionally, a 2020 quad breaker for 2 branch circuits of solar. A total of 5 circuits in the combiner, or 100 amps, 80 continuous of solar can be wired into the combiner PV ports. All the PV production is measured by built-in current transformers, which are pre-installed and wired onto the PV electrical bus. Located on the right side bus is a pre-populated 60 amp PV aggregate, RSD breaker. The breaker must be sized up if PV capacity is above 60 amps. The maximum breaker size is 100 amps. 2 battery circuit breaker positions are on the right side bus for connection for up to 2 IQ10C batteries per circuit breaker. Each IQ10C has a continuous current rating of 29.5 amps. The smallest breaker that will be installed in any battery slot are 40 amp circuit breakers for 1 battery and up to an 80 amp breaker if using 2 10C batteries on a breaker. Note, if using the power control system battery over subscription option, energy capacity can be doubled with up to 4 batteries per IQ10C branch circuit. Energy capacity is doubled, but power is software limited to 64 amps continuous. The maximum breaker size remains the same. All storage meter measurements are captured by current transformers, which are pre-installed on the battery DR bus. Also on the right side bus is the EV charger breaker to provide a direct connection for up to an Enphase IQ EV60 charger with 48 amps of continuous current. Note: when installing an electric vehicle charger, an external CT will be necessary to monitor charger power flow. A standard in-phase split core or clamp-on CT will be wired onto the Line 2 conductor and connected on the gateway. In the center of the circuit breaker section is a circuit breaker hold-down bar to secure backfed breakers. This is required and provided in line with NEC 408.36D. On the lower right side of the Combiner 6C is an integrated load controller. The load controller contains programming and electrical switching to enable the combiner to intelligently disconnect and reconnect electrical loads. The load controller has a built-in pre-integrated and wired CT for load metering and a dedicated load control circuit breaker slot for up to 80 amps of overcurrent protection or 64 amps of continuous current. Below the load control breaker are combiner status LEDs and a reset button for the integrated IQ gateway. And finally, the Combiner 6C has a pre-installed Cat4 cellular modem, which is intended to provide a backup internet connection. On the center-left functional area of the Combiner 6C are the main backfeed lugs. These are used for connecting the system backfeed conductors to the main electrical panel or backup subpanel. These lugs can support up to 6 AWG to 2-aught wire. Next to the main combiner backfeed lugs are neutral and lugs that can support larger gauge wiring when jurisdictions require the neutral be sized up according to the current carrying conductors. The lower part of the combiner contains the system IQ gateway. Behind the gateway is the combiner controller circuit board. At the bottom underneath the gateway are interface ports for battery and meter control wiring, external CT connections, rope CT, and RS-485 connections. Shown here is a block diagram of the Combiner 6C and its functional design. The architecture provides important features that help in system installation, operation, and support. Let's discuss some of these. One feature of the Combiner 6C for system installers is the integration of CTs directly onto the electrical bus. The integrated production CT and battery CT eliminates the need to install external physical CTs and reduces time and CT metering errors. The built-in load controller also has an integrated CT to provide load metering. When installed with an in-phase IQ meter collar, consumption metering is also included, as the meter collar has built-in consumption CTs. The load control port can also function as a third-party PV or legacy in-phase PV connection port. Connected PV systems that can't be directly controlled by the in-phase IQ gateway can be shed through the load control port. The integrated load control CT can be reconfigured to measure PV production in these use cases. Another feature is the simplification of the IQ gateway from a line voltage gateway to a low voltage DC gateway. The DC-powered gateway is more resilient to power fluctuations caused by line-level voltage changes and can be supported and powered by low voltage power from the Combiner 6C and the Battery 10C. The Combiner 6C also has a built-in ferrite core noise filter in the PV circuit path to reduce extraneous noise that may be injected from the home back to the Combiner 6C. This aids to increase the reliability and stability of power line communications between the microinverters and the gateway. As mentioned, an integrated load controller is built into the Combiner 6C and is able to shed up to 80 amps of single or combined loads. Potentially heavy loads that can impact microgrid health during a power outage can be rerouted to this circuit. Integration of current and future generations of in-phase IQ EV chargers into the Combiner 6C allows for relocating heavy EV charger loads out of the main electrical panel. In-phase EV chargers can be dynamically controlled to optimize for efficient energy usage. The PV/RSD or aggregate PV circuit breaker is a feature in the system that provides a single-point, compliant means of PV system rapid shutdown and a valid form of energy storage system disconnect, all subject to local AHJ approval. The Combiner 6C has provision for rope CT connections when these are needed in difficult wiring situations. Another feature of the Combiner 6C is an auxiliary normally open or normally closed dry contact relay used as an option to control external loads. The normally open, normally closed control can actuate a custom load controller or even be connected in line with a thermostat line to control HVAC units. The contact can control up to a 120-volt, 1-amp load. Finally, The Combiner 6C fully supports PCS features as a standard part of the fourth-generation system. In summary, the Combiner 6C is a core building block of a fourth-generation Enphase energy system, offering one system device to aggregate PV, storage, EV charging, and integrated load control.